Hey, where's my dinner? Sorry. I'm feeling under the weather, so you'll need to fend for yourself. What? Seriously? You're probably just looking to slack off. William's tone of exasperation sends my spirits plummeting. It's all William's fault that I'm bedridden, sick. Recently, I stumbled upon an appalling truth about William. The shock of it all has left me bedridden, nursing my poor health. Yet, William, oblivious, constantly complains about my being in bed. Feeling a sense of resignation towards William, who doesn't bother to worry about me. I wonder what all our years of marriage have been for. After being treated so terribly, am I really intending to continue this marriage? As tears stream down my face, my children come to me. Don't worry, Mom, we've got this. We'll make him regret it. We'll show him hell. Heartened by my children's encouraging words, I manage to stop crying. I am their mother. For the sake of a happy future for my children, I can't afford to wallow in sorrow. And so, I begin plotting my revenge against the traitor William, alongside my children. My name is Jennifer Thompson, a 46-year-old working mother. While juggling work at a food processing company and taking care of the household, I lead a busy life. I've been with the company since graduating high school and have been recognized for my hard work, currently serving as a department head. Though my days are hectic, my children's help around the house has been a huge relief. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day at work, so how about we do takeout for dinner? Work's busy? Then, I'll cook dinner tomorrow. You focus on your work, Mom. I'll take care of the laundry. Leave the household chores to me and my brother. Thanks, both of you. You're a big help. My eldest son, Robert, just turned 13 and is quite the responsible leader. My younger son, John, is 10, charming and sociable. Surprisingly, both have grown into intelligent individuals, unlike me. Perhaps they've inherited their great-grandfather's academic prowess, who was a professor at a prestigious university. My children's presence soothes my heart, but that comfort is quickly shattered. Your job's a breeze, isn't it? Passing off the housework to the kids because you want to slack off seems a bit much. William's mocking smile and pointed words cut deep. Once a kind husband, he now looks down on me, making such derision a daily occurrence. After giving birth, I took maternity leave, which, to him, seemed like I was just slacking off. Since then, he's belittled my job and makes remarks like he did just now. But William's trouble isn't just his remarks. You guys agree, right? Housework is women's work. Any guy would understand that. For some unfathomable reason, he tries to win over our two sons with this logic, aiming to gang up on me. But William thinks of parenting as women's work too, and has hardly contributed to raising our kids. Because of this, the kids don't really warm up to him. That's a pretty outdated way of thinking. Dad, you're behind the times. Lately, they've been talking back more often, and each time, William looks displeased. He doesn't realize it's his own fault the kids are cold towards him. Even though he's become more absent and less of a father figure because he often comes home late. I sigh daily, wondering if it's too late for him to become a role model for the kids. Then one day. How about we go to the outlet mall on our next day off? William unexpectedly suggests. He rarely makes such suggestions. Family outings and trips have always been my idea, with William just tagging along. I got a bonus, so I'll buy you guys whatever you want. It seems William is trying to buy the kids' affection. They've been even colder towards him lately. He doesn't realize his mocking of me is the cause, thinking instead they're just being typical teenagers. The kids see right through William's shallow attempts and didn't react well. I need to study for a test. Staying in to study on a weekend isn't healthy. Let's go out with Dad. But Dad, you said you'd cut my allowance if I don't rank high on this test. Robert, looking exasperated, and John, not keen on the idea, respond. I'd rather do something active than go shopping. If we're going out, I want to go to that new adventure park. Did you forget I hurt my back recently? We need to go somewhere fun for everyone. I'm not that into shopping. I secretly sigh at William's misfired attempts. Well, the kids say this, but they'll probably enjoy themselves once we're out. I look forward to our rare family outing and manage to get through the busy weekdays. But on the day of the outing, we're all ready to go after breakfast, but William won't get up. Hey William, we need to leave now or we won't get there until after lunch. Going to wake him up, I find William half asleep and brushing me off. Quiet down. I'm tired from working overtime, so let me be. Despite being his idea, his selfish behavior leaves me speechless. So, we leave William behind and head to the outlet mall, just the kids and me. The kids seem to have a great time, making me glad we went. However, upon returning home, we're greeted by William in his pajamas, clearly in a bad mood. Why didn't you wake me up? I did wake you up. But you're the one who said not to, remember? And you just left without me? That's harsh. Watching William complain non-stop, the kids look on with disbelief. The good mood from our outing is ruined thanks to William's sour mood. As the kids start to show off their purchases in the living room, William glares at them. Are you trying to spite me? With cold looks, the two children silently put away their purchases while staring at William. Despite this behavior, he's only going to end up being disliked by the children. I'm at my wit's end with William, who understands nothing. A few weeks after our trip to the outlet mall, William leaves for a work drink, saying he'll be late, and heads out. For the first time in a while, the kids and I enjoy a peaceful meal. With William around, the air would sour with complaints about the boring TV or too heavily seasoned food. But our peace is short-lived. I'm home. Brought some coworkers over. What? It's already 10 p.m. To my shock, William returns home, face flushed from drinking, with his coworkers in tow. All cheerful and drunk, they make themselves at home on William's encouragement. I rush to the living room to host the unexpected guests, starting preparations. Hey, bring some snacks and drinks, will you? Okay. William sits back, barking orders about this and that. Sorry for showing her bare face. I always tell her to keep up appearances, but she's just lazy. Being barefaced is because I had just taken a bath, and it's unreasonable to stay fully made up late at night. William continues to belittle me in front of his coworkers. Sorry for the lousy leftovers. She claims she's too busy with work to cook properly. Bet your wife's a great cook, huh? With no prior notice of their arrival, leftovers were all I could offer. But my kids love my cooking. Growing increasingly angry at William's insensitivity. His coworkers, sensing my anger, seem to realize they've overstayed their welcome and quickly leave. Then, this is it, they said, before quickly heading home. Just when it was getting fun. Stunned by William's obliviousness, I'm left speechless. William goes straight to bed without cleaning up, leaving everything as is. The next day, it seems his coworkers scolded him for the previous night's intrusion. They suggested he be more considerate of his wife. It's your fault I was embarrassed. Yet, William refuses to listen to his coworkers' advice, blaming me instead. Is hoping for William to realize his actions futile? Months after that incident, William's returns have been getting later, and the kids and I have been having dinner alone more frequently. It's nice to have peaceful evenings, but his late returns are concerning. As I was thinking this, William's smartphone caught my eye. He had said he was going to take a bath. It's unusual for him to leave his phone behind when he always takes it to the bathroom. Just then, the screen lights up. Curious, I glance over and what's displayed is shocking. An unknown woman's name appears, along with a suspicious message saying how much fun she had yesterday. Feeling uneasy, I wait until William falls asleep drunk, then secretly check his smartphone messages. There were so many messages, I transferred them all to my phone to review. What I found was astonishing. What is this? Has he been cheating for 9 years? My worst fears were confirmed. Moreover, it seems William started cheating right after John was born. Digging deeper, an unbelievable fact comes to light. They had a wedding! Shockingly, William had a wedding ceremony with his mistress. Checking the date, it was a month ago. On the days he said he was on a business trip for 2 nights. The mistress knew William was married but believed his promises of leaving me, so they went ahead with the ceremony. Her delusional messages expressed a desire to become a real couple soon. The next day, I fell ill and stayed in bed. My love for William had faded long ago. I stayed with him because he was the father of my children and a sense of resignation towards my once loved partner. But the betrayal has hit me hard. And just on this day, William comes home early, opens the bedroom door, and says to me while I'm lying in bed, "Hey, where's my dinner?" Normally, someone would worry if you were in bed at this hour, thinking you might be ill. But William, only thinking of himself, doesn't seem to care at all. "Sorry. I'm not feeling well, so you'll have to fend for yourself." What? Seriously, you're probably just looking to slack off. William's disdainful tone deepens my despair. Even though it's his fault I'm in this condition. Despite betraying us, William has been living as if nothing happened. What was the point of our marriage? I can't live with him anymore. As I lie in bed shocked, the kids come to me. "Mom, what's wrong? Did you catch a cold? Should we make some porridge?" Touched by my children's kindness, tears start to roll down my cheeks. "Sorry, you too. It seems Dad has been having an affair for 9 years. I ended up telling the kids about the affair impulsively. It wasn't something I should have discussed with such young children. I felt like a failure as a mother and apologized to them repeatedly. However, they comforted me, saying there was no need for me to apologize. Mom doesn't need to apologize. The one who did wrong is Dad, for betraying us. It's okay, Mom, you can relax. We'll make him regret it. Robert's right. You should just rest, Mom. Leave the rest to us. We'll show him hell, they said, with sly smiles. Wondering what they meant, I was nonetheless heartened by my children's reliable words. I am their mother. I can't keep feeling sorry for myself for the sake of my children's happiness. Thank you. I'll be strong too. They nodded back at me with smiles. But after that, they demonstrated more initiative than I could have imagined, greatly aiding me. A month after William's affair came to light, I confronted him with the filled-out divorce papers. You've been having an affair, haven't you? I know everything. As expected, William denied the affair outright. He tried to play it off with a nervous laugh while his face turned pale. An affair? What are you talking about? Have you finally lost your mind? Furious at William's continued disrespect, even at this moment, I knew getting emotional wouldn't help. I took a deep breath and presented him with the evidence. Here's the proof of your affair, I said, piling the evidence on the table. William initially appeared confident, but his composure faltered as the overwhelming evidence mounted. What is all this? I gathered evidence of your affair. Feel free to look through it. And just so you know, these are all copies. Destroying them would be pointless. Staring dumbfounded, I picked up a recorder from the table and pressed play for William to hear. My name? I'm Patricia. Do I have a boyfriend? Of course, I do. His name is William, and he's a very kind and wonderful person. The voice belonged to William's mistress, Patricia. William broke into a sweat and panicked at the sudden sound of his mistress's voice. I told you from the beginning, didn't I? I know everything. This recording wasn't made by me. The evidence of the affair piled on the desk and the recording, all were collected by Robert and John. After learning of their father's affair, John used his allowance to buy a small GPS tracker. He discreetly placed it in William's usual bag, locating Patricia's home. After finding the home, John approached Patricia pretending to be a lost child nearby. The audio file played was secretly recorded by John. He even kindly edited out his own voice to spare himself the embarrassment of hearing his attempts at flirting. Acting all cutesy in front of that woman, I managed to get a lot of information out of her. I didn't want to hear my voice acting all cute, so this is an edited version. John's acting was amazing, wasn't it? Thanks for helping me, miss. You're so kind. Do you have a boyfriend? Making those puppy eyes, he got all sorts of information from her. Maybe he should consider acting in the future? Stop it, Robert! John's face turned bright red as he lightly punched Robert. Robert just laughed happily. I watched them both in stunned silence for a while. Had they been playing detective without me knowing? No, this wasn't just play acting anymore. They could be considered skilled detectives with the amount of evidence they had gathered. I have a lot to say, but first, let me thank you both. Thanks to the evidence you collected, I can divorce your father. I truly appreciate it. But please, don't ever do anything dangerous again. You two are the most important thing in the world to me. Just the thought of something happening to you makes me scared enough to cry. Initially, I was shocked by the mountain of evidence they had collected, but as I reviewed it, I became confident that it would enable me to win the divorce. I cannot thank them enough. However, they are still children. They may be intelligent, unlike their mother, but they are still physically small. The thought of something dangerous happening to them during their investigation made my spine chill. I'm sorry, Mom. We just thought we had to do something, and ended up acting recklessly. We didn't mean to cause you trouble. We're sorry. The children took my lecture to heart and promised never to do anything like this again. I let out a sigh of relief and hugged them both tightly. You've done so much for me. Thank you so much. I'm the luckiest mom in the world to have you too. But I decided not to tell William any of this. If he knew the evidence was gathered by the kids, he would likely dismiss it and not take it seriously. When did you hire a detective? If I stayed silent, he seemed to have mistaken the evidence as being collected by professionals. However, I didn't respond to his question and instead moved on to address the issue at hand. I've already consulted a lawyer. To the flustered adulterer, I confidently presented the reality before him. With this evidence, I've been assured that I can win the divorce favorably. All you can do now is admit to the affair and sign the divorce papers. And you'll have to pay the alimony I demand. William was shaking, his face turning pale. He was sweating so much that droplets fell onto the desk. Seeing him fall silent, I frowned. Silence won't solve anything, I thought, just as I was about to speak again. It's your fault. Excuse me? It's because you stopped paying attention to me after John was born. I felt lonely and had no choice but to cheat. It's all your fault. You should be the one paying alimony. For a moment, I was stunned, unable to comprehend what he was saying. But as I grasped the meaning of his words, my disgust turned into rage. Do you realize how absurd you sound? Absurd. Are you calling your husband absurd? Oh, my apologies, let me correct myself. You are the most foolish man I have ever known. After John was born, you didn't help with housework or childcare at all. I had to manage everything alone while taking care of Robert and John. If I had less time for you, it was because of your own actions. Anyone with a bit of sense would understand that. William twisted his face, listening to my words. It seemed he recognized some truth in them. I repeatedly asked William for help. However, he always made excuses, saying he was too busy with work or that he didn't understand household chores and childcare, and never helped. It's all your own doing, so please don't say anything more foolish, I told him. What did you say? William stood up, his face red with anger at my words mixed with a sigh of exasperation. But it was our two children, Robert and John, who suddenly appeared and stopped him. Wait a minute, Dad. Getting mad because it hit too close to home, is that how an adult behaves? If you're an adult, you should be able to discuss things calmly. Robert's right. It's embarrassing to watch you, Dad. And if you even think about raising a hand to Mom, we'll call the police immediately." "You were listening?" I had hoped to keep them away from our divorce talk, asking them to stay in their room until the discussion was over. However, they frowned slightly and said in unison that they were worried about me. We couldn't bear it if something happened to Mom. And it's about time Dad understood the situation clearly. That's right. We need to make Dad realize how selfish and childish he's been acting. We're fine, so Mom doesn't need to worry about us. Tears came to my eyes at their reliable words. I'm always busy with work and hardly an exemplary mother. Yet, these two have grown up to be such fine children even with me. "What are you talking about, both of you? This isn't a conversation for children to get involved in. Mom and Dad are having an important talk. Go back to your rooms." William suddenly acted like a responsible adult. The kids gave William a sharp look. "We have to get involved because it's come to this. Try to understand, Dad. And by the way, how can you act so high and mighty after betraying your family for 9 years?" Robert's relentless words turned William's anger into confusion. "Jennifer, you told them? This isn't something children should hear. Are you even a mother? Those words, I could say the same to you, Dad. Who was it sneaking around behind the scenes? Not a conversation for children, indeed. And yet, who's the father here?" John's sharp retort left William wide-eyed and trembling. William, who had stood up in anger, eventually sat down powerlessly after facing our children's counterattack. "You've made our children say such things. It's about time you realize the gravity of your actions," I said to William, who was now silently looking down. After a while, he suddenly looked up at the kids with a pale face but attempted a smile. "You guys hate a mom who says such terrible things, right? Come on, you do. Dad is going to divorce Mom. You'll come with me, right?" William's logic seemed to falter under pressure. His abrupt statement momentarily stunned us. However, the children quickly recovered and unanimously rejected William's proposition. "Are you stupid? Why would we follow a dad who's been betraying us all this time? Even if you offered us a fortune, we'd refuse," Robert declared. "If you divorce Mom, you'll marry your mistress and live with her, right? There's no way we'd want to live in such a hellish home. To put it bluntly, we hate you, Dad. Why would we ever choose to follow someone we despise? We'll stay with Mom. You can give up on having custody of us." Faced with their outright denial, William was left in despair. Did he still believe the children would side with him after all this time? They had long since lost all affection for their father. There was a time when I tried to mediate between William and our children. But I realized that without William changing, reconciliation was impossible. I had hoped he would come to realize and change his ways, but this was the response he gave. "I can no longer think of him as family. Now do you understand? I'm going to divorce you and demand alimony. I'll take custody of the children. Since you'll be free after the divorce, you can remarry your mistress or do whatever you please." But William shook his head with a pale face. "It's impossible. I can't pay the alimony." "Oh, why's that?" "I don't have the money." However, the children quickly countered this claim. "Stop lying for once. You always waste so much money, Dad. You actually have quite a lot, don't you? Especially since you hit the jackpot with the lottery." "What? How do you know about that?" The truth was, in addition to investigating the affair, the children had been looking into other things as well. One of them was investigating William's savings. If Mom and Dad are getting divorced, Dad would have to pay alimony, right? Do you even have that kind of money? You're always wasting it. Maybe we should check Dad's bank book. And so, they found the hidden bank book. The amount recorded shocked them. Upon reviewing the transactions, it was revealed that William had secretly purchased a lottery ticket that won big. "So, trying to lie to us is pointless. Make sure you pay up," John said with a sweet smile. Meanwhile, William shifted his gaze around nervously, his mouth trembling. That money was for Patricia and me to go on a honeymoon abroad. Wow, is that so? Well, you'll just have to make do with a domestic trip. Robert replied, smiling just as sweetly as John. Wait, hold on. Don't you guys have any compassion? Taking away everything from me, money, custody, everything. Compassion? For you, who has been betraying your family and enjoying your time with your mistress all this while. For you, who never lifted a finger to help when it was tough, and just lived selfishly. You're asking if there's compassion for that? The answer is obvious. Of course, there isn't. I retorted, not hiding my scorn. I've had enough of you doing whatever you pleased. Everything that's about to happen is the result of your own actions. It's your responsibility, no one else's. Please, Jennifer. Forgive me. No, I will never forgive you. I will do everything in my power. You'd better brace yourself. I concluded, sealing his fate. William's face turned beyond pale as if the final blow had been dealt. Completely rejected by his family, William could only stare at us, a soulless expression on his face. Shortly after, I began the divorce and alimony proceedings. Not only did I demand alimony from William, but I also sought it from Patricia. Patricia really doesn't have any money. She's barely making ends meet with her part-time job. You're going to squeeze money out of someone like that. So what? Both you and your mistress are adults, right? Then, as adults, you should take responsibility for your actions. I said, dismissing his pleas while proceeding with the alimony claim. Amid this, Patricia, having obtained my contact from William, reached out. I'm truly sorry. I deeply regret my actions. Please, can you forgive me? I don't have enough savings to pay alimony. Then you shouldn't have had an affair in the first place. I responded and blocked her contact. I informed my lawyer about this interaction, ensuring she would not contact me directly in the future. After managing to receive alimony from both of them, I started a new life with my children, divorcing William. The house we had been living in was built on land that my father owned and had passed down to us. The mortgage was in both William's and my name, but with my recent promotion, I figured I could easily manage it on my own. I removed William from the mortgage, transferred the house and land titles solely to my name, and kicked William out of our home. William seemed to think that if we divorced, it would be us who would have to leave. He was quite perplexed when I informed him about the mortgage and title changes. It would be troublesome if I couldn't live here anymore. Don't take the house away from me, he pleaded selfishly. But when I mentioned hiring a lawyer again to fight it out thoroughly, he eventually gave up and left. After leaving our home, William reportedly moved into the apartment where his mistress lived. However, it was a small studio meant for one person, and they seemed to be having a hard time living together. Without the money to move, they're already facing a crisis in their relationship. On the other hand, I am enjoying peaceful and happy days with my children. Not having to take care of William anymore has given me more time and peace of mind, allowing me to dedicate myself fully to my work. Thanks to that, there's already talk of me getting another promotion. If things continue smoothly, I should be able to easily afford my children's college fees. Freed from their father, Robert and John have become noticeably brighter and more cheerful. I always thought that children needed a father, so I tried not to think about divorce. Honestly, the thought of divorce crossed my mind many times. But I convinced myself that it would make my children unhappy. However, I was wrong. Continuing to be a family with that father was the real misfortune for them. Now, Robert and John live each day without any worries. By the way, I haven't properly thanked you too. What would you like? Feel free to ask for anything. Let me think. Oh, I know. I want to eat at a steak restaurant. Robert, that's a great idea. Mom, let's go right now. I was about to say, is that all you want, but quickly shut my mouth. They looked genuinely happy. Intelligent unlike me, they saved me from crisis. Yet, I realized they were still children at heart, and it made me breathe a sigh of relief. Until the day they grow up and leave my side. I plan to cherish and nurture these precious treasures with all my heart.